A bandsaw is only as good as what you run it with, and most woodworkers stop at the machine without looking further. We found 25 accessories that change how this tool performs. Most people have never heard of half of them. Here is the list. Number 1. 1/4-inch bandsaw blade 6 TPI. For general curve work on a 14-inch bandsaw, this is the blade most woodworkers reach for first. A 1/4-inch wide at 6 TPI handles scroll work, tight radius cuts, and freehand curves in wood without pushing the blade off track. Compatible with most 14-inch saws from Delta, Grizzly, Jet, Craftsman, and Rikon. An affordable consumable worth keeping 2 or 3 of in the shop at all times. Number 2. 1/8-inch bandsaw blade 14 TPI. When a 1/4-inch blade is still too wide for the radius you need, this is the blade. An 1/8-inch wide at 14 TPI is the tightest turning blade most 14-inch bandsaws will accept, designed for intricate curves, pattern work, and cuts where control matters more than speed. If you have ever tried to make a tight turn and felt the blade bind and resist the curve, this blade solves that problem immediately. Number 3. 1/2-inch bandsaw blade 6 TPI. The 1/2-inch blade is the workhorse of the bandsaw, wide enough to track straight through thick stock with enough tooth spacing to clear chips in dimensional lumber and hardwood slabs. If you run one blade on your bandsaw most of the time, this is the one. Compatible with most standard 14-inch saws and cuts straight and clean without needing a fence to keep it on track. Number 4. Timberwolf wide Resaw blade. Timberwolf builds blades differently than most production manufacturers, silicone steel construction, with lower blade tension that reduces stress on wheels and tires, and lets the blade flex through long cuts without fatiguing. The 3/4-inch width is purpose-built for resawing thick stock and ripping lumber into veneer or bookmatch panels. Woodworkers who switch to Timberwolf for resaw work rarely go back to standard production blades. Number 5. Urethane replacement tires 14-inch. Worn bandsaw tires are one of the most overlooked causes of blade tracking problems and vibration on 14-inch saws. This urethane set is compatible with Jet, Grizzly, and POWERTEC bandsaws and installs without adhesive. Just stretch them over the wheel. Urethane grips the blade properly, reduces vibration at speed, and restores the tracking performance the saw had when new. A shop upgrade most bandsaw owners put off too long. Number 6. Urethane replacement tires 12-inch. The same urethane quality in a 12-inch size for craftsmen and similar benchtop bandsaws that use the 12-inch wheel. Old rubber tires crack, glaze, and lose grip over time. Blade flutter and tracking drift are usually the first signs. Installing fresh urethane tires is the single best thing you can do to restore a used bandsaw to reliable performance. It takes about 20 minutes and makes a significant difference in how the saw runs. Number 7. Portaband replacement rubber tires. A 4-pack of rubber drive tires compatible with Milwaukee deep-cut Portabands and similar portable bandsaw models. When the stock tires wear or crack, the blade slips and tracking suffers. These restore drive grip and smooth operation. Portaband users who run their saws heavily on metal or in the field should keep a set in their bag. One of the cheapest maintenance upgrades available for any deep-cut portable bandsaw. Number 8. Cool Blocks blade guide blocks. Cool Blocks replace the stock blade guide inserts on most 14-inch bandsaws. Graphite-impregnated composite that runs cooler against the blade, reduces heat buildup, and guides more precisely than stamped steel or bare metal guides. Compatible with Jet, Grizzly, General, and most import bandsaws. A genuine upgrade over factory guides that most bandsaw users discover after blowing through a blade or two and wondering exactly why it happened. Number 9. Carter Ball Bearing Blade Guides. Carter Products makes the most respected aftermarket guide upgrades for 14-inch bandsaws. Ball bearing guides replace the factory cool blocks entirely, reducing blade friction to nearly zero and allowing the saw to cut faster, smoother, and with less blade deflection under load. If you resaw thick hardwood or run your bandsaw hard, this is the guide upgrade that changes the actual capability of the machine. A serious investment and a serious performance improvement. Number 10. Kreg Precision Bandsaw Fence System. The most purchased bandsaw fence on Amazon for good reason. It attaches to most bandsaw tables without drilling, adjusts for blade drift, and locks down solidly for straight, repeatable rip cuts and resaw passes. The extruded aluminum fence face is flat and true, and the clamping system holds position under hard feed pressure. For anyone resawing lumber or ripping thin stock consistently, this fence makes the job reliable and repeatable. Number 11. Kreg Bandsaw Resaw Guide. A simpler, single-pivot resaw guide for woodworkers who want drift correction without a full fence system. The single contact point allows the workpiece to naturally follow the blade without fighting drift. Push against the pivot and steer the wood with your hands. For freehand resawing of thicker stock, this guide provides just enough reference to keep cuts consistent without locking the workpiece into a rigid track that fights the blade. Number 12. O-School Straight Edge Clamp with Bandsaw Fence. A 24-inch straight edge guide that clamps directly to the bandsaw table surface and doubles as a rip fence for straight cuts. No table modification required. The clamp design works on virtually any bandsaw regardless of table size or fence rail compatibility. For woodworkers who want a fence they can put on and take off quickly without a dedicated rail system, this provides a solid, accurate reference edge at a practical price. Number 13. Carter Fence Alignment Tool. Bandsaw blade drift is the invisible problem that sends cuts off course, and most woodworkers compensate by eye without ever addressing the root cause. The Carter alignment tool measures the actual drift angle of your blade and gives you a precise reference angle to set your fence to, so cuts track straight without fighting the saw. A simple, accurate tool that solves the most common bandsaw accuracy problem once and for all. Number 14. BOW FeatherPRO Featherboard. A high-quality featherboard with EVA feathers that flex against the workpiece and prevent kickback while allowing smooth, consistent forward feed. Compatible with table saws, router tables, and bandsaws. Attaches with standard T-bolt hardware to any miter slot. For resawing operations where consistent feed pressure against the fence matters, a featherboard removes the variable of hand pressure and keeps the cut straight from start to finish. Among the most rated featherboards on Amazon for a reason. Number 15. BOW GuidePRO Vertical Bandsaw Featherboard. Designed specifically for bandsaw resawing, a vertical featherboard that presses against the face of a board as it feeds through, controlling the workpiece against the table surface while you steer it against the fence. Solving the two-axis feed control problem in one attachment is exactly what this tool does. For woodworkers who resaw regularly, this vertical guide is the piece of equipment that finally makes the process consistent and predictable. Number 16. Milescraft GrabberPRO Push Block. A low-profile ergonomic push block with a heel grip that hooks under the workpiece and pushes it through the cut without rocking or tipping. Works on bandsaws, table saws, router tables, and joiners. The grip seats solidly on the workpiece without leaving marks, and the low profile keeps hands well clear of the blade without blocking the cut line. The push block most woodworkers end up standardizing on once they try it. Number 17. Micro Jig GrabberPRO Push Block. The gripper is a workshop standard, a configurable push block with a modular leg system that grips the workpiece from the top and sides simultaneously for maximum control through any cut. For thin rip cuts on the bandsaw, the side grip prevents workpiece flex that causes binding and kickback. Woodworkers who use this push block for the first time are usually surprised how much more controlled the cut feels compared to a flat push stick. Number 18. POWERTEC Push Block and Push Stick Set. A 5-piece set covering the full range of push tools most woodworkers need. A push block for face control, push sticks in 2 sizes for narrow cuts, and a hook-style pusher for guided feed along the fence. All pieces cover the common safety scenarios across bandsaws, table saws, and router tables. For anyone building out a shop safety kit or replacing worn tools, this set covers every situation without buying individual pieces separately. Number 19. GOINGMAKE Thin Rip Jig. For cutting consistent narrow strips on the bandsaw or table saw repeatedly, this jig registers against the fence and holds the workpiece at a fixed distance from the blade for every pass. Set the width once, run as many strips as you need, and every piece comes out the same thickness without remeasuring or resetting the fence. Fits standard T-track and miter slots on most saws. The most efficient way to produce thin stock repeatedly. Number 20. Olson Blade Lubricant Stick. A wax-based stick lubricant applied directly to bandsaw, scroll saw, and handsaw blades. It leaves a thin film on the toothface that reduces friction, heat, and pitch buildup during the cut. Most woodworkers discover this after their blades pitch up with resin from green wood or pressure treated lumber, and the cut starts to slow and smoke. A single stick lasts a long time and makes a noticeable difference cutting through dense or sticky material. Number 21. 14-inch Bandsaw Trunnions. The table tilt trunnions on most import 14-inch bandsaws wear over time. The lock loosens, the table develops wobble, and consistent bevel cuts become impossible. This replacement trunnion set fits most standard Taiwanese import 14-inch saws and includes a degree scale for accurate tilt angle reference. A straightforward repair that restores a loose bandsaw table to solid, dependable use at a fraction of what a replacement saw would cost. Number 22. TOOLCOOL Blade Height and Setup Gauge. A compact height gauge for setting blade height, bit height, and depth stops on bandsaws, table saws, and router tables without a separate rule or feeler gauge. Stackable for different heights, metric calibrated, and small enough to keep on the machine. For woodworkers who dial in the same setup repeatedly, dado depth, blade exposure, fence height, this gauge removes the guesswork and makes each setup faster without picking up a separate measuring tool. Number 23. POWERTEC Magnetic LED Gooseneck Light. A 30 LED gooseneck work light with a magnetic base that mounts directly to the bandsaw column frame or any steel surface near the cut area. Plugs into any USB source or standard wall adapter. The LED array puts useful light exactly where the blade meets the workpiece, eliminating the shadow cast by most shop overhead lighting. A simple, Affordable upgrade that makes fine cuts and marked lines clearly visible under any shop lighting condition. Number 24. FAJ60 LED Bandsaw Work Light. A longer reach 60 LED magnetic work light with an extra long flexible gooseneck for positioning over larger or taller bandsaws where a short neck cannot reach the cut zone. 2 magnetic mounting discs are included for machines without steel surfaces near the blade. For floor standing bandsaws, scroll saws, or any machine where seeing the cut line clearly is a consistent problem, this light reaches where standard task lights simply cannot go. Number 25. POWERTEC Tandem Featherboard Set. 2 featherboards in a tandem mount, designed to run together for dual direction pressure, control during rip cuts and resaw passes. The T-track bolt hardware fits standard miter slots on most bandsaws and table saws. Running both featherboards simultaneously eliminates workpiece movement away from the fence and away from the table surface, giving you the most controlled feed possible on any straight cut. A professional-grade safety setup at a price point that makes it worth adding to any shop. That wraps it up. 25 of the best bandsaw accessories on Amazon right now in 2026. Drop a comment telling us which one you are adding to your setup first.